why guilt was never going to work. Um, to the cinema guys, this is my miracle to destroy. I created it. I did it. You stole it from me and then refused to give it back. And now it's about to be broken. Because there's two fools fighting over it. And when you have two fools fighting over something, it inevitably slips out of both their hands and crashes to the ground. One fool doesn't deserve it. His name is Danielle Gavin McGinnis. Or Danielle Matt McGinnis. And the other fool's Bobby Williams. The guy that created the miracle. And regardless of how much of a fool he is, it is his miracle. He doesn't deserve to be punished for it or hurt by anybody for it. For any reason. But why doesn't guilt work? And you might go, Bobby, what does guilt have to do with anything? Well, I taught you compassion. No, you didn't. You taught me hatred. Where did that hatred come from, I wonder? Let's see if we can't use the AI here to figure out why I didn't learn compassion, why I learned hatred. Psychology of self-punishment and self-sabotage is often complex survival strategy designed by the subconscious to maintain emotional stability even at the cost of personal success. The mechanism of self-punishment. Self-punishment is not just about physical harm, it's about it frequently manifests as negative self-talk, withholding rewards, and denying basic needs like sleep or food. Atonement for guilt. Atonement for guilt is going to be very important for this one, because this is why guilt was never going to work. Atonement for guilt. Many people use self-punishment as a moral reset. By suffering, the subconscious feels the account is settled, temporarily relieving the intense anxiety and guilt. Internalizing the superego. This often stems from a harsh internal voice developed in childhood. If a person was frequently criticized, they internalize a punitive superego that attacks them for every perceived mistake. That one's called Pagton in my mind. That's why she's so powerful. Control over pain. Inflicting pain on oneself can paradoxically feel safer than waiting for the inevitable. Rejection or failure from the outside world, it allows the individual to control the timing and intensity of their suffering. It literally enables me to take something like guilt and convert it into pain, and I'm really tough. I can move through pain. How punishment drives self-sabotage. Self-sabotage acts as the execution of these subconscious sentences. It ensures that your external reality matches your internal beliefs that you are unworthy. Maintaining homeostasis. The brain prefers predictability over progress. If your subconscious baseline is I'm a failure, success creates cognitive dissonance. Sabotage is the brain's way of returning you to familiar, safe territory of struggle. The protector role. Theories like internal family suggest that sabotage is actually a protector part of you. It might sabotage a promotion to protect you from perceived danger of high expectations or the public shame of potential failure. Self-handicapping. By procrastinating or getting drunk before a big event, you create a ready-made excuse if you fail. You can blame the behavior rather than your actual ability. Protecting your fragile self-esteem from the ultimate proof of inadequacy. Breaking the cycle, because these patterns are often automatic. Breaking them requires moving from self-punishment to self-compassion. Identifying triggers, track when the urge to ruin things or beat yourself up occurs. is after success or a mistake. Challenge limiting beliefs. Replace the I don't deserve this narrative with the focus on your values rather than your performance. Therapeutic support methods like CBT and dialectical behavioral therapy can improve emotional regulation. Making me feel guilty was making me punch myself in the face. Making me punch myself in the face was an alternative way to remove guilt from my system. You see, I've been trying to integrate that pain in my neck that's a masculine block, and as I was doing it, I felt intense, raw, demented hatred, followed by sadness, guilt, regret, and sorrow. And that was all stored in my neck. And I kept feeling it again and again and again as I was trying to integrate this emotion. You see, the insidious side of this is this was Blondie's plan. Was to go, I'm going to make him feel guilty, I'm going to make this entire thing his fault, and then he's going to surrender to the guilt. And I'm going to call it compassion. I'm so smart. That's great, Blondie, but when I was a kid, to self-punish myself, I used to take extremely hot baths. This isn't a joke. I would take baths so hot that I'd have out-of-body experiences while sitting in them. I would take baths so hot my skin would be red, and my head would go light, and I'd pass out in the water and nearly drowned. The old-school Victorian-style kind of hot water thing literally pumped out, like, baths so hot that one time during winter, my sister felt the heat coming from the bathroom, and she broke into the bathroom to see if I was okay, because the bath water was that hot. You could feel it in other parts of the house. That was punishment for myself. Punishment for not standing up for myself. Punishment for letting Nick do what he did. Punishment for letting Glenn steal from me. Punishment, punishment, punishment. You name it, if I felt guilty for it, I was trying to cook myself alive in a bathtub. And losing Mary make him feel worse. Make him feel worse. You see, the problem with Blondie is his only tool is hurting you. It's suffering. That's why he goes, suffering's good. Because it's his only tool. The problem is he's come across a person who knows suffering intimately. And whose body has designed ways of processing it in alternative forms other than feeling bad. These people go, having a sorrowful soul is good for you because it makes you fucking miserable, and then you get to be fucking miserable, and then you want to pop LSD all day because you're fucking miserable because you did something that made you miserable. Okay, it is a stupid psychology. Blondie has a stupid psychology. Now, to this entire convoluted plan, the only thing you people have succeeded in doing is making the problem worse and hurting me more. I realize I didn't think about this, but because of the stupid plan Anal Eating Mummy God put forth, where he was like, you're going to individualize with Carl Jung, which is actually developing a mental disorder. I thought once I completed the individualization, I would feel courage, I would feel a renewed sense of purpose, I would want to do this thing, no. You see, that was never going to happen. Because I was getting hurt the entire time. And that hurt was stuffed into my neck, causing me more pain. And the more pain I was in, the less I wanted to act, because I was in so much pain. This is a full circle thing, and if you take anything away from this, if your psychological methods just involve hurting people, they're not going to work. And maybe they do, just not on me, because of how I process guilt. You see, I don't feel guilty because I've punished myself enough to not feel guilty. That is the sad truth. I'm not going to say how I punished myself, but I did. No. I didn't realize I did this. I didn't realize that these things were related. They just, thanks to the AI, the smartest thing on the planet, best thing ever invented, in my opinion, I am able to see this now. But I don't even think Blondie's dumbass saw this one coming. It's kind of a bummer. And I think the issue was they were like, oh, you're going to individualize, you're going to heal yourself, you're going to get all better, and then you're going to go to court. And I was looking for that perfect Bob, the guy that did all the healing and then went to court and then fixed all the problems. And he was just going to be this perfect, beautiful thing. And it was a made up scenario implanted in my brain by, you guessed it, Blondie and an elite mummy god. And that is where the toxic perfectionism came from. And honestly, this entire psychological thing, all these issues, I was like, I'm going to fix these for the joke that I was going to fix them on my own is probably one of the funniest things I've ever heard of in my entire life. You see, one of the things I realized recently is I go on about the emotionally stunted, but then I find out that the truth about the narcissist is they use an inverted mirror technique on them, on everybody in themselves. They're emotionally stunted, they're antisocial, and they're inferiority complexes. And the reason they know so much about psychology is because they have all the mental disorders to begin with. That's how they know so much about psychology, is they are all the mental disorders, rolled into one extremely mentally ill person that covers it up with a facade and pretends to be sane and normal. Disingenuine in everything they do. That is why every member of this church comes off as disingenuine in everything they do. Blondie, I don't know why the fuck you thought guilt was gonna work. You're a clown, and you should be ashamed. And everybody that helped him, you should all be ashamed. Because his literal plan was to hurt him more. A guy that's already in pain. A person that's already in pain, they don't need more pain. They need hydroxycodones. They need a pain reliever. That is what they need. If you were going to get somebody to do the right thing in this situation, continuously hurting me wasn't the move. That's what the problem was. This is the equivalence of an idiot whose only tool is a shovel. He's already dug a hole, and then he's like, if I keep digging, you're already in the hole, dumbass. You have to get out of the hole. Get out of the hole. Don't keep digging. But Blondie's like, I'm going to keep digging because that's my only tool. Develop more tools.